Ladies and gentlemen of America, this trial is a joke. This thing is a farce. We were in there all morning. Michael Cohen basically sat there and said, yeah, he invoiced legal expenses. The Trump campaign, the Trump organization, not the campaign, paid out money in legal expenses. Where's the crime? There is no crime. The only crime that's happening here is this Democrat judge and the Democrat Party prosecuting their political rival right in the middle of a presidential election. The crime here is that the issues facing our nation are not being addressed by the Democrats, but they want to go after Donald Trump. And there's nothing wrong. There's nothing that has been wrong here. Nothing that has been done poorly by President Trump. The only thing that's being done wrong is by this judge. His daughter's making money, raising money for Democrats. And all of the fundraising emails and all the fundraising things are about this trial that his daughter is using. He won't recuse himself. This is a travesty of justice.
Definitely.
This is a misuse of the justice system. And look around New York. New York's got plenty of issues. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. You have all of NYPD's finest down here because of this travesty going on in that courtroom. Meanwhile, the citizens of New York are less safe, and the district attorney in New York is not prosecuting real crime. He's a Soros-backed DA going after his chief political rival in Donald Trump. America is better than this. And so, unfortunately, it's going to take the American people this November to let their voices be heard on this travesty of justice that's occurring and making sure that Donald Trump is the 47th president of the United States. I've never seen anything like it. This is a joke. It is a farce. It is a travesty. We are better than this as Americans. And unfortunately, the Democrat Party has lost their ever-loving minds. And so it's going to take the American people to remind them that justice is supposed to be blind. It is not supposed to be going after political opponents and political rivals. With that, I'll turn it over to my colleague from Florida, Congressman Corey Mills.
Woo! Trump pulled up to the court with Byron Donalds, Vivek Ramaswamy, Speaker Mike Johnson, Doug Burgum, and Corey Mills, Eric Trump, Lord Trump. Bro, he pulled up like the Avengers. Like he assembled everybody, for real. Vivek announced that he was going to be making his way there, and I knew about him coming there, but everybody else I wasn't too familiar with. Oh, I had no knowledge of, I meant to say. But yeah, Trump is yet again in this courtroom dealing with this Stormy Daniels case where there is no friggin' case. And the case happens to also be that the left agrees with that narrative as well. Not the narrative, but the truth, I meant to say. They used to paint narrative. That's why anytime I say the left, I automatically think of the narrative word. Anyhow, they're in agreement with this. Like, hey, y'all ain't got no case against Trump. This is a waste of time. Like, what are we doing? Y'all also making us look bad, really bad. This is unbelievable what they doing to this man. I mean, wouldn't you be pissed off if your name is not connected to this in no way, shape, or form, meaning you didn't sign off on none of the documents that they're saying that they're accusing you of doing some illegal work on? Weird, man. And then you going off of the word of Stormy Daniels, which in 2018 went on Bill Maher's show and literally said that none of the things that she's taking them to court for today happened. She said none of it happened. Go look it up. It's public information. They also, took the video from me too. So I can't even show the clip. And with all of those powerhouse individuals in attendance, it definitely poses the question, who is Trump gonna pick for his VP? Is this somehow like a tryout that we don't know, that's happening right now? He's like, you know what? Since I got this gag going, I'm gonna go ahead and put my Avengers out here to fight the good fight. And I'm also see which Avengers, the people are feeling the most. That could be a legitimate campaign test right now. We don't know. It could be happening right in front of our eyes. So let me know in the comments who you think might be the VP with Donald Trump. Who y'all think is the one that's, gonna be front running? I'll even be honest and give y'all who I personally want. I'm gonna say Vivek. Speaking of, let's hear from him and his take after the court appearance today.
Thank you. I want to thank my colleagues, Governor Burgum, Congressman Mills, and Congressman Donalds for laying out the political backdrop here. This is a politicized persecution that is nakedly apparent. What I want to do is dive a little bit deeper into what we actually learned today in that courtroom. What do we see in there? First of all, I learned a lot from being in there in person. It is one of the most depressing places I have been in my life, but it is fitting because the only thing more depressing than the environment of that courtroom is what's actually happening in there. It's straight out of a Kafka novel. The prosecution's main strategy appears to be to bore the jurors into submission. And if you look in that direction, sadly, it may appear to actually be working. Now, I would like for anybody here in the press, anybody at home, anybody in MSNBC or the media afterwards, to clearly state what exactly is the crime that Donald Trump committed. Oh, wait. We have not heard a good answer to that question. It has been vague until today. You heard Michael Cohen's testimony, after which I would say it is less clear than ever what that crime actually was. They'll say falsifying business records. Well, let's look at who did we learn falsified business records today? Yet, what, hour, 2 hours, felt like it could have been 7 hours, of Michael Cohen talking about how he falsified business records. Okay, so you have a guy who has been a perjurer in the past that is now saying he falsified business records. What is the crime that Donald Trump committed? Now, it appears to be what they might allege is some sort of bookkeeping error or whatever. The real bookkeeping that we need accounting of is Judge Merchan's own family member collecting millions of dollars as a Democratic operative, using the existence of this trial as a fundraising ploy for Democrats. This is unconscionable. Imagine if the same shoe fit the other foot. Imagine if it was Joe Biden that was on trial. You had a Republican judge whose son was collecting millions of dollars as a Republican operative. What would you all be saying? This would not be justice. This is injustice at its worst. So let's go even a layer deeper, right? Because let's go even a layer deeper, actually. The alleged crime here is supposedly, they try to point to this every day, that he does not actually use campaign funds, that he used personal funds. Well, let's get this straight. Suppose Donald Trump had used campaign funds to make a personal expense. They'd be going after him for that. Yep. So if they're going to get him going or they're going to get him coming, that is the best proof that this is a politicized sham. Let's go through it piece by piece. If you tell somebody to go buy you a suit and you want to look good on television because that'll affect the voters, the way voters vote for you. Okay. You know what? They prosecute politicians if they use campaign funds to buy a suit. If they say, go get a haircut, if you use campaign funds to get a haircut because you want to look good to the voters, they will actually prosecute you for using campaign funds for a personal expense.
That's crazy.
Yet the entire legal theory of this case, the whole case that Alvin Bragg has brought, depends on one premise for them to charge this as a felony, is that Donald Trump somehow should have used campaign funds to make an allegedly personal payment. Yet if he had done that, their case against him would be even stronger. Yep. This is garbage. That is the best proof that you have that if they're going to get him going or get him coming, it's damned if you do, damned if you don't. This is a sham. This is not the United States of America. This is some third-rate banana republic. If this were happening in another country, we would be laughing at them as a sham democracy. I am ashamed as an American citizen to sit here in a courtroom watching the former leader of the free world, and let's be honest, likely next leader of the free world, sitting with the indignity in this dingy third-rate courtroom with fourth-rate prosecutors and a fifth-rate lawyer on the stand as a witness, who actually is violating attorney-client privilege left and right. Nobody's even talking about that. So this is a shame. Shame on this period in our country's history, but we will get through it and be stronger because you know who ultimately actually cast the vote on this case?
Who's that?
It's not just the jurors in that jury box. It's every one of you at home. It's every American who votes this November to say no to the weaponization of justice. And if you're at home, you may say, you know what, I don't agree with everything Donald Trump's ever said. You know what, I may not agree with some of his policies even though they were great policies for 4 years. But you do agree, whether you are Democrat or Republican or black or white or gay or straight or man or woman, that our justice system should be blind to politics. That regardless of whether your last name is Biden or Trump, regardless of whether you've been a politician or not, you get a fair shake in our own legal system.
Yes.
And when you have a prosecutor who campaigned on the pledge of going after Trump and then keeps his campaign pledge, when you have a judge whose kids are collecting money from Democratic operatives by fundraising off the very trial that judge is presiding over, and then telling the U.S. president that he's subject to a gag order, that he can't talk about it, that is not justice. That is a bastardization of what this country was founded on. And I'm here, and all of us are here as friends of Donald Trump, supporting him in our personal capacity, sharing our opinions. That's why we're here today. But I hope every American at home who isn't able to be in that courtroom is able to see what's actually happening there. And when you do, we will have a landslide of historic proportion this November if every American understands the injustice that's playing out in that courtroom today. So may God bless our country. I pray for our future, and let's pray for our country being stronger on the other side of this disgusting sham politician prosecution.
Amen. Can you say that man went nuclear? Bro, he just went in. Like, I mean, bro, I'm telling you, I seen it from a mile away. Obviously, like he said, they're there on their own merit, but this is a great way for these people to really get the truth and speak on the things that Donald Trump can't speak on. Look at what the man is going through. Look at the judge and how his daughter is profiting off of this stuff, man. The American people, we not stupid. We not stupid. And I love how he points out the whole damned if you do, damned if you don't theory about if he had used campaign funds to, pay off Stormy Daniels, how that would have been a stronger case against him. Because right now, bro, the world is laughing at us. Literally. And what's even more ridiculous, shout out to Travis for Trump for posting this. Just then, the New York court has rejected Donald Trump's bid to have his gag order removed. The ruling stated that his gag order must remain in effect to, quote, protect the integrity of the trial, end quote. Really? Seriously? Okay. Are these New York judges nuts? This is Travis right here inserting his standpoint. What integrity do they believe this entire trial has? Cohen attacks Trump. Stormy attacks Trump. The judge's daughter profits from it. The judge donated to his opponent. Then, and the entire case rests on the word of a convicted felon who lied on the stand. What kind of genius would still support this ridiculous case? I don't know, bro. It takes a real special cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. And I love this one right here from Chicago, One Ray. It says, raise your hand if you agree with Professor Dershowitz, I believe that's how you say his name, who says the only crime that's been committed has been by Michael Cohen for lying in court on Trump. Literally, why is nobody talking about that? Like, at all? The man literally lied in court, which is something that, he needs to be looked into for, and definitely justice should be served, and that to the highest capacity for him for that. Perjury carries a minimum of 5 years in prison. Arrest that. I don't know what POS mean, y'all. I'm a little old right now. Educate your boy. Now we're going to take a listen to Congressman Corey Mills, and I love the quote right here. This is the Department of Injustice.
Thank you so much. What did we learn here today? What we've learned is that Michael Cohen, who has no credibility, who has purged himself multiple times, who has zero integrity, has actually admitted to defrauding the Trump organization. He has listed his invoices as being an actual legal precedent where, in fact, he's now claiming that it's something other than that, and that he knowingly and fraudulently put that forward. Look, as we talked about, why do they want this trial to continue? Well, they want it to continue because this is the fundraising source for Adam Schiff, for Biden, and for the Democrat opponents. This is nothing more than election interference at its finest. You are seeing where the weaponization of what was the Department of Justice, now the Department of Injustice, has continued to be utilized against the American people and against the President of the United States. I will tell you right now, the same way that I stand here steadfast behind our president, I know that America stands with him as well. They see this sham indictment. They see this for what it is without any actual substance whatsoever. Keep in mind, they keep actually talking about the FEC violations, but when you're utilizing personal funds or you're utilizing a trust, that is not campaign funding. There is no violation, which is why the FEC never actually even pursued this. And so I think the American people see this for what it is. They want to keep President Trump off the campaign trail. They're seeing what's happening in the swing states across America, and they're seeing exactly that this is draining down assets and resources that can be utilized by the president to continue to forge ahead, to build a stronger economy, to secure our border, and to get our nation back on track. This is a sham, and that is the only thing this is. Michael Cohen has no credibility, no integrity, and this is weaponization against our president.
And last but certainly not least, let's hear from the man, Donald J. Trump himself.
There is an insufficient amount of evidence. No crime has been shown. No crime's been committed. There's been no crime. Judge Janine Pirro, she talks here. She's very excited here. He's a fool. He's not an experienced judge. So I'll make that one a little short. I don't want to insult anybody. Greg Jarrett, brilliant guy. Bragg's argument is legally flawed. The Federal Election Commission, FEC, determined there was no campaign finance violation. The Department of Justice agreed. No civil fine was levied or criminal charge rendered. Those two entities have exclusive authority over federal elections. The state has absolutely no authority, and the city, Bragg, has no authority. And Bragg never wanted to bring this case, in all fairness to him. He never wanted to bring this case. Not a local prosecutor such as Alvin Bragg should be involved in this case. And by the way, the judge, as you know, is totally conflicted, and everybody's talking about it. It's an embarrassment to New York. Legal analyst Michael Moore of CNN doesn't think the prosecution has proven its case. Senator John Kennedy, respected gentleman, I will tell you that trial says more about politics than it does about an alleged crime. If you want to hide something from Bragg, you put it in the law book. Bringing in a fellow criminal trial, it hasn't proved to be a felony. There was no crime. Everybody's saying there's no crime. There is absolutely. But I've been here for almost 4 weeks in an icebox. I call it the icebox, listening to a judge who's totally corrupt and conflicted. Will Scharf, highly respected lawyer. Hush money, it's not a crime. Signing an NDA is not a crime. By the way, Congress, everybody in Congress have NDAs. NDAs are very common. Non-disclosure agreements. They're not a crime. Claimant, CBS Morning News, there's no evidence that this case is about campaign election violations. There's no evidence. But again, we go back to the federal law. The FEC, Federal Election Commission, said there's not a problem. There's no case. And Vivek, who's here right now, so he can speak for himself, he said this is a sham trial. It's politically motivated. It's an assault on the leading candidate for U.S. president. I would expect he would say something good, actually, so I won't go through the rest, but he's here. He's going to talk to you. The Speaker of the House is here. We have Byron Donalds. Corey is here. We have a lot of great people here to talk to you. And they won't let them speak here. I guess they want to make it difficult for them to speak. So for some reason, I can speak here, but I'm the only one that's allowed. The gag order has to come off. So when you ask me a question about the people that we're talking about, I'm not allowed to answer. There's never been anything like this in the history of our country. It's a scam. It's election interference at a level that's never taken place before. And now, if you don't mind, I'm going to go into the icebox and sit for a long time. Thank you very much.
Man, all I can say at this point is the American people, we not fooled. We not stupid. We disgusted by what we seeing. And that's just that.